Hey guys, thanks for clicking into GuitarPlayerUniversity.com. I'm Drew Craig and we're going to go through an intermediate video today. We're going to talk about how to use the blues scale. Now you're already familiar with the pentatonic scale. The blues scale basically adds one note to the pentatonic scale. You might go, hey wait a minute Drew, what are you talking about? I see two notes on the tab here in front of me. Well, the second note is actually in the upper octave. Let me show you. So here's our regular minor pentatonic scale. Coming back down. Now as you notice in the tab in front of you, there's two extra notes put in there. This note and that note. And you might go, wow, they sound kind of strange, and we're going to talk about why they were added. Let me play through the blues scale. So right off the bat you can hear how good those notes sound when you're playing through them. Now let me give you an example of how not to play through the scale. Sounds kind of rough if you just land on one of those notes. So these two notes that have been added are actually very dissonant, or they sound kind of rough, in other words, compared to the other notes. If we land on those notes, they sound wrong. But if we play through those notes, they sound correct. So I like to think about those two notes as passing tones. And meaning we pass through them. We don't necessarily stop and play that note for a while. We would kind of play through that note, hence the term passing through them. So there's a couple different ways to play through these notes. The first way is to slide. And the trick with sliding is this, and you got to do this, it's very, very important. You want to slide with the finger that is the finger that you would use for the fret you're going to. Let me reiterate that a little bit. In other words, if we were to slide up using our first finger, we would jump out of position and we'd have to come all the way back here to keep playing the scale. So we would want to slide up with our third finger because the third finger is the finger we would normally use for the 7th fret here. So if we were to slide down, we'd want to use our first finger because our first finger is the finger we use for the 5th fret. So whatever finger you use for the fret you're sliding to, that's the finger you want to slide with. So third finger for up slides, first finger for down slides, and let me give you a couple contexts of this. The slides up sound really good if you just add a couple more notes from the minor pentatonic. The slide down sound good if you also add a couple notes from the minor pentatonic. And you can put them in context with other notes. So you can hear the slide is very effective. You can also do it with the second note. Just like that, a slide down. Now a slide up is going to put you out of position into a whole new position, which we're going to have to talk about in another lesson. But that's how you can slide down using that note, and I think we can both agree it's a very effective blues sound. Now the second way, to use this note effectively is to hammer on or pull off the note. If we were to pull off, we'd use our second finger, pulling off to our first finger. Adding in the extra notes of the minor pentatonic. Sounds very effective. To do a hammer on, we're going to use our second finger to our third finger. Just like that. If we were to pull off the other note up here, we were going to do a pull off from our fourth finger to our third finger. Just like that. So that's how we can start to use the blues note, or in other words the blues scale, and the note that they've added effectively, as opposed to just playing through it. So to give you kind of a heads up on a lot of blues contexts in which this scale is used. Thanks for watching. I'm Drew Craig.